All right, let's preacher this clip.
Started in 2011. New York Times and CNN have also smeared veterans like myself for calling for an end to this regime change war. Just 2 days ago, the New York Times put out an article saying that I'm a Russian asset and an Assad apologist and all these different smears. This morning, a CNN commentator said on national television that I'm an asset of Russia. Completely despicable.
Ooh! I got to give some major props to Tulsi. I got to give some major props to Tulsi. You win. She's a samurai, bro. I'm telling you, she's a samurai. I don't like ninjas. For you, those of you who don't know, I'm partial against ninjas because ninjas are like they're government people. Okay, samurais in your face, fight with honor. Ninjas don't fight with honor. They hide and do shit that, espionage shit. So that's why I'm not a big fan of the concept of a ninja. I feel like they're glorified, if you will. Anyway, she's a samurai. She is, I'm telling you. She picked up her samurai sword. And they said, no, Tulsi, don't go. You're going to their dojo in their province. You'll be there all by yourself. You're going to be on their land. What? Are you crazy? And she was like, don't worry about it. I got it. So she goes into their dojo. All white, samurai suit. Nothing but her sword and her skills. No backup. She looked at all the samurai. The three leaders, New York Times, CNN. There's one more, don't really care. And she said, I'm about to cut y'all down in your own dojo, and no one around me is going to say a damn thing about it. And that's exactly what she did. New York Times smeared her, and yet they were moderating. Literally, the part of the New York Times where she got smeared, the guy who's in charge of that was moderating the debate supposedly, or was helping, assisting. Didn't answer the question because he doesn't have a face, but he was assisting with moderating the debate. CNN has done nothing but religiously smear Tulsi. It was literally a debate co-hosted by the New York Times and CNN. And Tulsi looked at both of them in their face like, y'all are full of shit. Her statements rang so true. She was like the number one trending topic on Twitter instantaneously. Because most of the country feels the exact same way. Not necessarily how they treat her, although that's an example, but that's only one small example of how they've lied to anyone who calls for peace, or who they've lied about anyone who calls for peace. They've lied about anyone who calls for an end to these unjust regime change wars. And some people ask me, why does Tulsi always and seemingly only say regime change wars? Why doesn't she just say all wars? Well, when you're talking about politics, you got to be very specific in your rhetoric. Saying, we're going to end all wars, that's a pretty, there's a lot of different types of a lot of different types of war to wage. And it also is very loose, not very specific. It's very general. It's very open-ended. It can be interpreted in a number of ways, where she would have to explain what that meant every single time. Regime change wars is specific, and she chose regime change wars for a very specific reason. Name one war since the end of World War II that was not a regime change war that the United States has fought in. Don't worry, I'll wait. I can't wait that long because there's no way. We have not fought in a single war that was not a regime change war. We have not. Why do you think it's so difficult for us to actually hunker down and finish off whatever? We get beat, we don't get beaten to submission, but very often we just get so tired of dealing with the people. like whoever's in charge. We just get tired of it, and then we just decide, we'll just wage economic war instead, which is a whole different conversation. Which, by the way, Tulsi addressed. So I am a proponent of her using very specifically regime change war, because the average person, what they hear is, oh, so that's what these are? Is that what we're doing? And then she obviously can start drawing comparisons. Look, this is what we did here. How did that turn out? Look, this is what we did here. Because now I can give you examples of regimes that we've overthrown and it was bad results. Overthrowing Saddam led to ISIS. Overthrowing the Libya led to fucking slavery. I don't understand how this is not a topic more often. But I digress. Trying to overthrow Assad has led to this debacle right now, as she points out. We'll talk about trying to overthrow Iran has left a crippling economy, a lot of tensions. Over and over and over again, wars with this specific purpose, whether it's explicit or implicit, have led to this issue. So anyway, when it comes to the New York Times and CNN, and just the way the media treats people in general, and of course, once again, I'm biased. I've endorsed Tulsi, but I still feel this way mostly about Sanders, and I even feel this way a little bit about Yang and a lot about Marianne Williamson. When you are an unconventional thinker, you have more flexibility when it comes to your ability to evolve. I have more confidence that you can come to the right conclusion when the right information is being put in front of you, and you know where to find it. Because finding the information is also a hugely underrated aspect of being quote unquote woke to the level that Tulsi is, who's one of the most woke. Well, in Washington, like as far as Congress is concerned, she's the most woke politician in Congress and the Senate, and it's not even close. Much love for Bernie. Bernie got domestic policies down pat. But Tulsi, different level when talking about, I mean, go watch a Joe Rogan interview, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But whenever CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, Daily Beast, you know who else has been smeared as a Russian asset in some capacity by all those outlets? Jill Stein and John Baraka. Even to a far lesser degree, Bernie Sanders. I've been, me too. Lee Camp and his show, my friends Lee Stranahan and Garland Nixon on Fault Lines, Jesse Ventura and the great folks at RT, Rush Today. Some of the most, Ed Schultz even was tangentially being connected as quoting Putin talking points. Rest in peace. All these great people, these great minds, progressives, whatever you want to call them, but they were unique in their approach, and it led them to where they are today, more or less, for better or for worse. They all aren't perfect, and they all definitely don't see eye to eye, but we all see the military industrial complex for what it is. That's for goddamn sure. Jimmy Dore, another huge one. The one who's attacked by everybody, no matter what she does or he does, that's the biggest threat to the establishment. That is the biggest threat to the establishment. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.